we have come to the main purpose of this dialogue as to how to arrive at a condition of great inner peace and joy. So we will examine the teachings of three great teachers from the eastern part of the world, and that is to say the Upanishads, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and the Buddha. These teachings came into being around 500 BC and it had a great similarity. It addressed the question of the misery of the human. And basically they said that only a human who has good conduct can approach it. And after that, go into the meditation which they talked about. Each of the three had a fairly detailed analysis and a description of what constitutes good conduct. The Buddha is contained in the Noble Eightfold Path and a similar teaching in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The Upanishad teaching was supposed to be secret and was given only to those who qualified based upon their conduct. Both the Patanjali Yoga Sutra and Buddha did not need any qualification, but said they must rigorously undertake the Eightfold Path. All three said it is probably just 1 in a million who would be able to apply the teachings given by them. So one has to wonder what happens to the rest of them. And I'll deal with that when I come to the Western religious teachers. The Eastern teaching said you have to stand on your own legs and pursue it with your own experience. Even though the Patanjali Sutra gives a very detailed step-by-step manual on what to do, and its analysis is indeed very great. The Buddha said you must attend to everything minutely, pay attention to everything. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra said must be totally aware all the time, because it is unawareness of what happens in you that is the cause of misery. And it's only in the ending of misery that you will reach that state of joy and perfection. All the three gave a name to the ultimate and said it is beyond thought, it is indescribable. The Upanishads called it the Brahman, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra called it Purusha, and Buddha called it Nirvana. But the name doesn't matter. It is a state in which you are completely full of joy and energy, and you are able to give this joy and energy to others. And that is important, because once the joy comes into you, it is not yours, it is to everybody whom you meet. And you are a good source of change in the world. So the two things which they said was have good conduct. So let's have a look at what good conduct meant. For example, the Buddha said, right view, right intent, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, and right mindfulness. And he said, you cannot get all this by reasoning or by inferring or by argument, but only by personal experience. It doesn't come straight away, but comes by gradual training and by due diligence. It is an individual activity. And Buddha said, do not go by what is handed down on authority of your traditional teachings, but do know for yourself, be self-aroused. Do not accept tradition. Do not accept because it is found in your books, not because it's in accord with your belief. And then finally, be a lamp unto yourself. All three teachings said you have to give up the rituals of your religion that doesn't take you anywhere, and don't be trapped by those people who perform magic. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which examines the cause of the misery, and said it is the deep-seated misery in our brains, in our consciousness, which has to be removed. And that is because we have not paid attention to every second of our life. It is that awareness, and in that awareness, you don't get attached to pleasure or pain. And the very fact of non-awareness creates a desire for future experience, and this creates thought, and this is the misery. So awareness, everyday awareness is what is important, awareness of ourselves, of everything that happens to us. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra says that once you have arrived at that stage, there is a clarity of vision or a clarity of knowing. It is instant and direct without any illusion, beyond any verbal knowledge and the knowledge which is acquired by reading or listening to people. The Buddha said, I have reached a stage of super knowledge, but I don't share everything with you because that's not necessary. I only speak about suffering and misery and the cause of misery. So just stick to that and don't ask any questions about other things. The Yoga Sutra, on the other hand, says that the ultimate is extremely difficult to understand. It is all too difficult to speak about it. It's a mystery and can be understood only directly by those who have arrived and not by others. That is why they rarely speak about it. Instead, be concerned about your problem, which is misery. Solve it first. The rest is academic, and you'll find the ultimate truth yourself in due course when you have arrived. So all the three teachings emphasize the need to solve the problem of suffering, of misery of yourself. And it is to this you should pay your attention. The Buddha said, there will be a new teacher who will come to the world in due course. And he will announce a new way, a new path. And you will be able to understand it only if you give up all your old paths. And in fact, Buddha brought a new path into the world, and people had to give up their old ways in order to understand what Buddha was saying. For example, the, uh, the Hindus were greatly ritual oriented. And here's what the Upanishad said about such people. Ignorant in their ignorance, these deluded men, proud of their vain learning, go round and round like the blind led by the blind. So the Upanishads, even 2500 years ago, said you have to give up the rituals and go straight into meditation and understanding what the truth is. It didn't, of course, describe the greater in great details meditation. Those details come in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and of course, Buddhism has always maintained about right mindfulness. This then was the teaching given by the three great teachings as old as 2500 years ago, which has been followed since that time, with various interpretations given on the Upanishads, the Buddhist, and the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And we have come to a modern age where there is a new teacher who talks about the importance of being awake, being attentive. And we will come to that in due course. But now let us turn to the Western religions where the most important thing was conduct. And these were given in the Quran and in the teachings of Jesus Christ.